Honestly, I just feel bad for people who've been lied to about their tinnitus. Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog. This is vlog number 315, and today I want to talk to you guys about tinnitus, and specifically about how there's no cure for tinnitus at this point. But if you could do me a huge favor before we get started, click that like button, really helps out the channel. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well. It's greatly appreciated. So there is a lot of individuals out there who are really upset that there is no cure for tinnitus. And you know what? They have every right to be upset. Tinnitus affects hundreds of millions of people worldwide, and for some of those individuals, it is completely debilitating, where they literally can't even hold down a job because the ringing and buzzing inside of their head is so loud, and they have no answers for it at this point in time. But as you guys know, I do like to follow different Facebook groups, and I'm a part of hearing loss Facebook groups as well as tinnitus Facebook groups. And I will tell you that as negative as the hearing loss face groups are, it is 10 times more negative inside of the tinnitus groups. And I think the main reason for that is that there are a lot of different treatment options when it comes to hearing loss to successfully treat hearing loss. And dare I say, it's relatively easy to treat hearing loss. But when it comes to tinnitus, there is a lot more complexity that goes into the treatment, and there's a lot of individuals who've just been told their entire lives that there's nothing that you can do to get rid of the ringing and buzzing. Now, when I was in this forum here the other day, I saw a post from someone who you can definitely tell is very frustrated, and like I said, probably has every right to be based on what people have told him over the course of the time that he's had tinnitus. And I'm going to go ahead and read this comment to you guys right now, and I'm going to bleep out the curse word that is in there. It starts by saying vent. The lack of awareness of tinnitus. It is so ridiculous how so little treatment is out there for us. People just shrug and say, get used to it. My mom says, get over it, it's no big deal. So sad, in 2026, no cure for this. Do you think that we will see a cure in 5, 10, or 20 years? The future is so depressing to think about. So this is really what people have been told time and time again, not just by family members, but by other healthcare professionals. And usually it's by healthcare professionals who have no training in tinnitus management. And while this individual is correct, there is no universal cure for tinnitus. There's no pill that you can take that just gets rid of the tinnitus. There is no singular treatment that you can undergo that completely wipes out the tinnitus. And this is, I don't know how many health conditions that are out there that have a cure where you do a treatment one time and the problem goes away. I know that there's vaccines out there for things like polio, where you can basically get a polio vaccine and it prevents you from getting polio. There have been some conditions like that that have been completely eradicated unless people choose not to get whatever the vaccine is. But in the case of tinnitus, this is really bad information. So when I started grad school, I actually thought that I was going to be a tinnitus specialist. So there's a lot of information out there, even at the time, 2012, about how you could have different treatments for individuals who have tinnitus. Now, why did I care about tinnitus so much when I first got into audiology? Well, the reason is that I have tinnitus in my right ear. I also have hearing loss in my right ear. And I cannot even recall when the ringing and buzzing started in my head. But I remember going into the military. So I was in boot camp, and when you're in boot camp, like the first week of Marine Corps boot camp, you end up going through your health physical stuff again. So they test your hearing and all of that, and I ended up failing my hearing test in boot camp in the right ear because I have a cookie bite hearing loss there. I didn't even really realize that I had a hearing loss because my low frequencies and high frequencies are perfectly fine in my right ear, and I have a perfectly normal hearing left ear. But one thing that stood out to me when they were asking me about my ear, and they asked if I experienced any ringing when I was in a quiet room. And I told them, well, yeah, isn't that just what a quiet room sounds like? I had just made the assumption that that ringing is there anytime that there's a quiet situation. And they're like, no, that's actually not normal. That is a condition called tinnitus. And you know what? Because you only have, because you have hearing loss and tinnitus only in one of your ears, you need to go in and get an MRI because we believe that you might have a tumor growing inside of your head. And so I was like, I was 19 at the time. I'm what, 43 now? So that's how long I've been dealing with tinnitus. And to be honest with you, initially when I first got it and I was told about it, I mean, it kind of did bother me a bit. In fact, after they told me what it was, it started to bother me more because I knew that it wasn't normal. And so I never actually received any type of counseling. I never received any type of treatment for it. Fortunately, I was able to serve out the rest of my time in the military without getting kicked out. They should have kicked me out because a waiver did not come through for my hearing loss. But it was essentially 10 years after I was diagnosed with tinnitus in my right ear that I started grad school. And so when I was in grad school, I kind of took an interest in like, well, what's causing this ringing and buzzing sound? And through our education, we identified that oftentimes when you have a hearing loss in an ear or both ears, the brain replaces that missing sound with its own phantom sound. And depending on the frequency range that you experience the hearing loss, you can typically get a high-pitched ring, white noise, white static noise, or cricket sounds or cicada sounds, whatever the case may be. Everybody perceives it or can perceive tinnitus differently. But what we also started to learn when I was in school is that yes, there's no cure for tinnitus, but there's a ton of different treatment options that can help people manage their tinnitus. And to the point where when you administer one of these particular treatments, your perception of tinnitus could completely go away while you're using the treatment. For instance, hearing aids. If you have an underlying hearing loss, the use of hearing aids to replace access to the missing sound that was causing your tinnitus can 7 times out of 10 get rid of the tinnitus or at least significantly reduce the perception of the tinnitus. That's a huge deal. So if someone comes up to me and says, hey, Cliff, I've been told that there's no way to treat your tinnitus, I'd be like, well, that is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard, because something as simple as using hearing aids can help get rid of the perception of it. Now, on top of that, there's a variety of other treatment options. You have cognitive behavioral therapy, you have tinnitus retraining therapy, you can adjust your lifestyle to get more and better sleep, you can exercise more. All of these things have a positive impact on your tinnitus. You have things like nutrition, with certain things that you eat or don't eat that has a significant impact on your perception of tinnitus. And don't forget, there is hundreds of millions of dollars going into tinnitus research every single year. Just because you don't hear about it doesn't mean that it's not happening. Someone is trying to get extremely rich by finding that cure for tinnitus, but chances are they're not going to find a cure. I don't think that they'll ever find a cure for tinnitus. I don't think that you're going to have like an injection or a pill that you can take that gets rid of that ringing and buzzing inside of your head. What's going to eventually happen is that there's going to be a wide variety of treatment options. In fact, there is a wide variety of treatment options, but you're going to have even more treatment options that you can utilize in order to mitigate your perception of the tinnitus. So for instance, some people out there do great with hearing aids. Other people out there don't have any tinnitus relief with hearing aids. Some people out there take lipoflavonoid and they swear that their tinnitus perception goes down, and then other people take lipoflavonoid and they have no change in the perception of their tinnitus. Some people swear that if you put eardrops in their ears, their tinnitus goes away, and of course for other people they're like, yeah, that doesn't work at all. One of the craziest pieces of research that has come out here fairly recently is bimodal neuromodulation. Bimodal neuromodulation is probably the most researched new form of tinnitus treatment out there. It is FDA approved, and they have a variety of different peer-reviewed studies showing that it has a significant impact on individuals who have tinnitus as long as your tinnitus is moderate or worse. But at the end of the day, it really takes an experienced tinnitus clinician to be able to identify what is likely the cause of your tinnitus and what management strategies that you should be using to mitigate the perception of your tinnitus. Now, like I said earlier in this video, not a lot of people have training on tinnitus. So if you end up going to a physician, you go to an ENT who has no foundational knowledge in tinnitus treatment, then of course they're going to tell you that there's nothing that they can do, because they just pretty much want you to leave their office because they don't have a pill that they can give you for the tinnitus. But if you end up going to a tinnitus specialist, like an audiologist who has training in tinnitus management, they're going to have a wide variety of different tinnitus treatment options that they're going to be able to identify which one is most appropriate for you, administer that treatment, and see what your response is. Now, we actually developed a biometric monitoring system called Modern Tinnitus Basecamp that tracks different biomarkers by using different wearable devices. Why am I bringing this up? Well, when you undergo treatment for tinnitus, your body has a physiologic response to that treatment. And what we will often find is that individuals' heart rate variability gets better. We know that their sleep quantity and quality gets better, and we know that they need to increase their movement and exercise to help improve their other biomarkers as well. And these are all things that we track inside of our Modern Tinnitus Basecamp platform. Essentially what we're doing is we're taking this subjective world of tinnitus perception and we're objectifying it so we can actually measure how much improvement you're having in response to a tinnitus treatment. Now, where can you actually go to get access to this biometric platform? Well, you have to go to a modern tinnitus specialty center, and the way that you find one of those specialty centers is by going to moderntinnitus.co. At moderntinnitus.co, you can actually run a search for your closest modern tinnitus specialty center. All of the specialty centers have a variety of different tinnitus treatment options, and they can use biometric monitoring to see which one of those treatments is actually giving you the best response when it comes to tinnitus relief. Now, I know that there are those of you out there who are listening to me saying all this stuff about tinnitus and how there are different treatment options, and you're saying, that's just a bunch of bullcrap, I don't believe it, and that's fine. If you don't want to believe it, continue to do whatever you're doing or not doing and just go on social media forums and complain about it. You do what you want to do, whatever makes you happy. But for those of you out there, even the 1 or 2 people who are listening to me right now who truly want to find a solution for their tinnitus, the best thing that you can do is find a specialty center that knows what they're doing when it comes to tinnitus treatment, because there are answers and there are solutions to your tinnitus. You just have to know who the right person is to talk to. But I want to hear from you. Have you been told that there is no cure for tinnitus and that there's nothing that you can do to get rid of the ringing and buzzing sound inside of your head? Let me know down in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.